I'm not saying it's space aliens, right? But it goes without saying it's space aliens.
It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. Live stream is up on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Coming up on, it's the first weekend of June, 6th, 7th, and 8th. It is the first ever Fairborn UFO Conference. They've got 3 days of activities planned. And joining me in the studio is David McWhartor. He's from UFO 101. They're an organization in New Carlisle. You can find them on Facebook. I posted about them earlier today. You can follow the little hot link, if you will, and find their page. But David is here. Been looking forward to this. So thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to talk about this UFO conference and everything that went into planning it, and what's going to be happening. But most of all, you and I have talked off the air a number of times, and I'm just super psyched about this whole thing because I feel much like you. And there was a great article in the Dayton Daily News about this. They talked to you about making Fairborn the Roswell of the Midwest. And I'm with you 100%, because I had some folks on last night from the aviation trail, right? And I said, it's a weird parallel, but just following me on this, David. The Wright brothers, they started here 100%. And we have all these great landmarks and museums and all these attractions here locally. We argue with North Carolina about Kitty Hawk. I say, as many do, they had the win in the soft landing. We had all the brains and the technology. Here's what I have to say about Roswell. Roswell had a desert that a supposed UFO crashed in. That's what they had. That's all they had. But then it was scooped up, and where was it brought? It was brought over to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. That's where all the examination, that's where all the technology is. That's where, they studied about this. They studied that. The Project Blue Book was based there back in the 60s and the 70s, where they were investigating UFO, the UFO phenomenon and UFO reports and all of those things. It's all right here. I think we have more invested in this whole notion about UFOs and Hangar 18 and all of that than what Roswell has. And I feel like this is the time for you guys to just get going, and I'm so happy that this is finally happening. So that's my long intro. But thank you so much for being on the show and taking this endeavor under. I know you're working with a number of other people.
Yes, we have a great staff that builds form for us, and we all work really well together, and I think that has made a difference this year. Right.
And I know that there was a couple of starts and stalls over the last few years. Certain things happen you can't really control, but it sounds to me like now you've got some real momentum. I mean, you don't have just the conference, which would be cool, right? If you're really interested in the UFO phenomenon and meeting other people and talking to experts who have really studied all of this, but you've got some other activities that are really, sort of more like family oriented, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about those.
Okay. Well, it's community based.
Right.
And we are having a costume contest over in Yellow Springs, the Low Art Theater, and that will be June 6th. And that starts at 6:00. And it's not just for children. Adults can dress up as well. And we have some great unique alien trophies.
100%. I have seen pictures of these, and my gosh, I would love to have one of those in my studio at home. They are so cool. Somebody really put a lot of effort and work into creating these these trophies, but you've got there's different age groups, right? There's for
Correct.
kids, there's for adults.
I think there's 4 different.
Yeah, and you can, and again, by the way, you can find details on the event. You can find it on my Facebook page. If you just go to @EveningEdgeTodd on Facebook, right at the very top, pinned is a link to the UFO Fairborn UFO Conference, and it will take you to where you can get tickets, and there's other information on there as well. So, so that is all there. And then after the costume contest, they're going to be showing one of the classic alien films of all time. Not to scare anybody, right? We're not showing Alien. We're showing
E.T.
E.T.
Yes.
The extraterrestrial, classic Steven Spielberg film. Probably, yeah.
I know I watched it when I was a kid.
Oh, 100%. Yes. I remember going to the cinemas in Beaver Valley Cinema with my family and watching it and just being like blown away by it, because that was the first alien movie, to my recollection, that wasn't really trying to scare you,
Yes.
They weren't all here to eat your brains like zombies or kill you or whatever. It's just ET.
Yeah,
it's just ET. So so you got that going on. So that's going to be happening Friday in Yellow Springs at the Little Art Theater. And then on Saturday, that is kind of like that's the main focus, because you guys are bringing in some experts on ufology. Is it ufology or UFOlogy? Ufology, right. You're going to have some folks coming in, and you're having this conference over at the Fairborn Holiday Inn. So who are we going to be seeing over there?
Okay, well, at first, the whole event is going to be kicked off. Representative Brian Lampton is coming in, and he's going to open the ceremonies up as well with Mayor of Fairborn, Dan Kirkpatrick.
Oh, so the mayor's on board with this. Okay.
Yes, he is. He's really into this.
Right.
So they're going to open up the ceremonies, and then we have Tom Wertman. He's from north of Columbus, but he is the director of Ohio MUFON, and he's going to be our first speaker, and he's going to stay on as our host the rest of the day.
Nice.
Yes.
So cool. So you've got some folks lined up, and the big thing, though, I think, is going to be just the mixing and mingling. You're going to meet a lot of people there that maybe they have an interest like you, or or they've had an experience or whatever it is, that you're all in one place, and it's kind of neat to sort of make that network.
Yes.
Meet those other folks. So that goes on Saturday. Starts at what time, you said?
Well, the doors open up at 8.
Okay.
And then Representative Lampton will come on at 9.
Okay. And goes until
6
o'clock.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Yes, we have 7 speakers, and so it's a full day.
7 speakers. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So, I mean, if you get online and you look, and there's I know there's a list of the folks there. If you can't make it to the whole thing, it's only $15 to get in.
Oh, right.
Yeah. You can at least come and sort of cherry pick what you want to see.
Absolutely.
Maybe if there's somebody there that piques your interest, maybe you've heard them on Coast to Coast AM here on WHIO overnight, or you've seen them on TV or whatever it might be. That's the time you could go see.
And I keep saying that it'd be difficult to find, even seeing one of these speakers for $15. You get to see 7 of them.
Right.
So it's an amazing deal.
Yeah, 100%. So that's going to be Saturday during the day.
Yes.
And then on Sunday, this is a different kind of idea. I think this is kind of cool. It's alien disc golf. Right?
Yes.
So where's this going to be taking place, and what's the premise of this whole thing?
Okay. Well, it's going to be held at the Fairborn Community Park.
Okay. Is that the one right next to the old Fairborn High School?
That's correct.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes. It's now the middle school.
Right.
Yes. And it starts at you can come in 11. You can register now, by the way, online, and maybe we can link that.
Oh, sure.
From your site. So you can check in at 10 to 10:30, I think, or I'm sorry, 11 o'clock. And then the actual event starts at noon. And It's a double, so it's 2 people per team.
Okay.
And the cost is only $25 per person.
Okay.
And half of the proceeds will go to our Fish Fairborn pantry.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
there's a nonprofit element
absolutely,
included with
which
this.
is great.
Yeah.
Yes, and then the other half will go to the winners.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
we're not getting anything from that.
So this is disc golf. I'm sure many people have seen this on TV. Maybe, I know that we have edge heads that played it because we've talked about it on the show before.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be you're just going out there and you're playing a round of disc golf. But what's the alien twist to this?
Okay. What you refer to as UFO Bill,
yes,
has purchased these.
He needs a hat that says that.
Yes, he has purchased his own disc.
Oh, wow.
With his own logo, and it also has a UFO symbol on it.
Yeah,
and every participant that pays to get into this tournament will receive one free.
Oh, cool.
Yes,
cool.
and they're going to be a collector's item.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah, so it should be a pretty good opportunity to have some fun.
Awesome. All right, now we're going to touch on all of this once again a little bit later. We've got a call. Oh. Somebody has an alien story, but we got a break here. So we're going to do a break here, then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to William. So William, hang on the line and we'll get to your alien story. If you happen to have an alien story or some sort of encounter that you would like to share, 937-457-1290 is the number. We'd love to chat with you.
What am I listening to now?
What is this?
The Evening Edge with Todd Holst.
It's a radio show. It's entertainment.
Coming up.
T-O.
Double D.
H.
Oh.
Double L.
S-T. I can remember that.
Locally grown, seriously funny.
I'm puzzled by the whole thing.
On WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7, live stream up on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. I'm interested in that story that Ron has. That's the second story in like a month and a half where Jell-O shots ended up in a kid's classroom. One, I think, happened at Christmas time, and the person who was responsible was just charged. Now this is another story. Jell-O shots at school. Wow. 937-457-1290 in the studio. David McWhartor. He's from UFO 101. We're talking about the Fairborn UFO Conference, but we're also taking your calls if maybe you've had some sort of alien encounter or lights in the sky that you can't explain. We'd love to talk to you. 937-457-1290. And we've got William and Enon. Hey, William, how you doing?
Hanging in there. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. So you got a alien story for us, huh?
Yeah, I was out in Snyder Road outside of Enon with my girlfriend, and we were in a field. I'll leave it at that. And we saw a bright light ball just hover real slow and went over into the field above the trees and lowered down, and the whole field looked like it was on fire.
Wow. Now, how long ago was this? Last week?
This was in 1992.
Okay.
And what happened, she would not let me leave. She'd freaked her out. She wanted to go.
Right. Yeah. Well, I would be scared too, being out in the field and seeing something like that.
I wanted to take my four-wheel drive and investigate because there was railroad tracks that goes right by that field.
Oh.
And I'm like, I want to go check this out. I mean, I just wanted to go so bad.
Right.
But she wasn't having it.
No, I got you. Did anybody else report seeing anything like that night that you talked to or heard?
I went and dropped her off because she lived down out in the Snyder Park trailer. Dropped her off, and I went back.
And
I went back down in there. The lights were gone.
Oh.
But I had two helicopters circle the area. That was it. I don't know if they were from Wright Pat or something, but they were military.
Probably.
And they were circling around wondering what's going on. They might have caught them on radar.
Interesting.
And my dad worked the Air Force Reserve, and I asked him to check into it. He asked somebody, and they said, "No, we don't have any reports."
Right.
So-
Well, of course, that's what they're going to say. It's all a big cover up,
Yeah.
William.
It is.
All right. Well, thanks for that story, buddy. I appreciate it. 937-457-1290. If you've got a story, we've got somebody else who's got one. So we'll get to that. We'll get to your calls and we'll talk more about the Fairborn UFO Conference coming up the first weekend of June 6th, 7th, and 8th. We'll dig a little more into this and talk about it and take your calls.
What am I listening to now?
What is this?
The Evening Edge with Todd Host.
It's a radio show. It's entertainment.
Fill it up.
T. Oh.
Double D.
H.
Oh.
Double L.
S. T. I can remember that.
Locally grown, seriously funny.
I'm puzzled by the whole thing.
On WHIO.
All right. Cool. Well, that was an interesting call.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's that's the thing. I from time to time I get calls like that, where somebody says they experienced something or saw something, and I don't know what it is. I keep my mind open. I have my doubts about certain things. It's like I talk about Bigfoot all the time on this show. I don't know, but I'm open to the notion that maybe there's something there, right? And it's the same with the aliens or even ghosts. I've had one or two experiences where I'm kind of like, that's interesting. But I tend to think a lot of things could be explained. But being where we are, I mean, right by the base, who knows what's going on over there? What they're flying around. So. And I think now with drones, it makes it even more challenging because people see things and like, what's that? Well, everybody has a drone now.
Pretty much, right? Yes.
But I want to talk to you about, like, have you had an encounter or something, or?
I've had one. I had a sighting.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll get to that.
Okay,
We'll
sure.
About that. We'll talk about that. And then of course we'll hit all of the conference stuff again.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. I try to, when I do my show, I look at it like in a half an hour block,
I got you.
so because the change in audience, a lot of them, I mean, I have a lot of people that, watch the whole show, which is great.
Mhm.
But I try to reset every half hour with something, especially like this, because we have people coming in and out,
Right.
You figure when you're in your car and you're listening to the radio station, you might only listen for 15, 20 minutes at a time, and then you're off doing something else.
Mhm.
So, yes, Chad, to answer your question, the event is June 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's not this weekend. It's June 6th, 7th, and 8th. You can get details on my Facebook page. There at the top, it's pinned. You'll see Fairborn UFO Conference. And that will take you, I think that particular link will take you to the Eventbrite website, which you can buy tickets. And the tickets are only $15. And what David said is 100% true. I mean, if you'd go to see any of these speakers, in an event where they're sort of the keynote or whatever it might be, it's going to cost you more than $15. This case, you get to see them all for $15. That's a pretty good deal. But yeah, so that's when it is. Let's see. I've heard that parts from the UFOs were sent from Wright Pat to Mound Lab via the tunnel,
Mhm.
wherever reverse engineering into the power systems for the experiments left on the moon and for deep space probes. Huh? Who knows? Who knows? Captain Scurvy says he has a ton of UFO stories, but he's busy working. Well, thanks for letting us know. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, looks like somebody else is calling in.
Good.
Oh. So when did you start your group?
January.
Oh, just recently.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
And we were sponsored by the New Carlisle Library.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yes. And we usually get around 25, 30 people.
Oh, like you have a meeting there at the
Yes.
library and
Once
people just show up?
the third Saturday every month.
Oh, that's neat.
And we with online we had 717 last month.
Oh, wow.
There's a good
So
following.
you guys do when you do it at the library, you do like a Facebook Live or something?
Yes.
And okay. That's cool.
So it's really growing.
Okay.
Storm Center is currently activated. We'll break in whenever you need to know about approaching severe weather. WHIO.
Be of good cheer and call me.
Call me now.
Call me. He's laughing at us right on the radio.
Least we could do is get him on the radio and talk to him.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Holst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
I'm not saying it's space aliens, right? But it goes without saying it's space aliens.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7, live stream up on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. We're talking about the first Fairborn UFO Conference happening on June 6th, 7th, and 8th in Fairborn. Also, partially in Yellow Springs at the Little Art Theater. And I'm here with David McWhartor from UFO 101. That is a organization in New Carlisle. And David, we were just talking off the air that you started this group in January of this year, and you've got tons of followers, and you hold monthly meetings.
Yes, the third Saturday of every month.
And you do that at we're at
the New Carlisle Library.
Okay. All right. So they kind of sponsored you, I guess.
Yes.
And you show up there, you get a couple dozen people come out. They talk about ufology or maybe experiences that they had, and you live stream it so you can watch it, and you can just find them on Facebook. You know, we just talked to somebody who had an experience themselves. Got a couple other people that are online. I'm curious about you, David. What got you into ufology? And
well, as a kid, I used to watch the show Night Stalker.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Okay, it's about our age group time.
Yeah.
And that strange mystery type of thing always fascinated me.
Right.
And then my older brother would he was interested in UFOs, and I just followed his lead.
Yeah.
And I started building a collection of my own library of UFO books.
Yeah.
And that's where I am now.
That's cool. The show that I remember watching was with Leonard Nimoy, In Search Of.
Oh, yes.
That was a big one. And then I also remember at my school library, they got a series of books that were one book was about Bigfoot, one was about the Loch Ness, one was about UFOs. There was also one, I think, about vampires or something, but I just remember checking those books out all the time and being just terribly interested in a lot of that. But so that's kind of cool. Now, have you had your own experience?
Actually, I have. 1999, I used to work for Honda America, and I would get off at midnight, and I would drive from Marysville back
Oh,
to
right.
New Carlisle.
Yeah.
And it was about 1:00 in the morning, north of New Carlisle, and I saw a triangle. It flew right over the top of me, and it was massive. Yes, and it had the typical lights on the corners and the big light in the middle.
Yeah.
And it just hovered right across and went right across the road, right at the same time I was going underneath. It was amazing.
Quiet? Was it
Yes,
quiet?
it was quiet.
Wow. You
Yes.
don't have any missing time, do you?
No, other people have asked me that. Now looking back, I wonder, maybe I did. I don't know.
Maybe you did. Maybe you were probed.
Yeah.
You don't know it. 937-457-1290. If you have a story that you'd like to share. Jason in Springfield. What's up, Jason?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
All right. It's a long story, but I'll try to make it as short as I
Yeah, try
possibly
to
can.
abbreviate it as much as you can. We got other people who want to chat.
Yep, coming back from a birthday party on Monroe. Jumping on the interstate at 75 right there, coming down there by Trader's World.
Mm-hmm.
And I just happened to look over to my left, which would be west, and I seen these two lights. They had great distance in between each other, but they were both traveling at the same speed, and they were almost parallel with one another. Well, they were traveling down. I was just watching them, wasn't looking ahead, except for on the highway, right? But anyway, they stopped and they shot back the opposite direction on a dime. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like really freaking out. And then they reversed course again. But this time they went to what we all are going to call the mothership. And this thing, and I ain't kidding, because it was pretty much daylight. My wife is absolutely anti-UFO. Okay.
Okay.
Throw it out there. She does not believe in it. So anyway, these two lights get to this cigar symmetrical looking frozen object, and it's huge. It isn't little, it's huge in scale. I can tell it's huge. And I asked my wife, and two of my three girls were with me, and I said, "What is that?" And my wife's immediate answer to that was, "I don't know. Get out of here."
Oh, wow. Yeah. So she had a feeling of some sort. She didn't want to be there. Wow, that's a great story. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. Let's talk to Elizabeth in Franklin. Hey, Elizabeth.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, you're up.
I have a story. I was 16 years old. I was born in 1962, so you can do that math.
Okay.
And
Well, some people might. I can't do it in my head. I ain't that good. Anyway, go ahead.
We lived south of Dayton, West Carrollton, Minot Township area, and I was driving my sister somewhere back to home, and both of us just looked up. We were right on the corner of our street, and we looked up, and there's this huge black triangle with lights just shining down. It was just stopped. It wasn't moving. It took up several different, I can't even tell you how many, if it was a block long or 2 blocks long. We were so scared. I did a yard job in our yard. I was looking up, and the wheels just went up in the yard, but we were so scared.
Yeah. How'd you explain that? How'd you explain that to mom or dad?
Well, we went in and they didn't even ask. They didn't even seem surprised or anything.
Right.
And I did do some research and saw that these were like aircraft that was being researched at Wright Pat at the time, which would have been in the late 70s.
Right. That kind of makes sense, Elizabeth, and I appreciate your call. David, you and I were talking about that, our proximity to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I'm sure many people over the years have had an experience where they're not sure what they saw, but man, oh man, who knows what they're testing over there, especially in the early days of drones. Right. Yeah. But all right, we got let's talk to Mike in Dayton. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Todd, how are you?
I'm well. What's up?
Hey, so I had 2 experiences. So the first one was in 1971, and it always stands out to me because my father worked for NASA.
Okay.
So we were on our way to Florida for the opening of Disney World, and in the Smoky Mountains, we saw some spotlights. And my father drove. We got off the highway there, and there was a saucer UFO hovering over a farm.
Wow.
And my father was arguing with the MP that he's from NASA, kept showing his NASA ID trying to get access.
With his family in the car.
Right. Kept saying, I work for NASA. You need to let me in.
Right.
And the second one was in Cincinnati in 1979. And that was 8 of us in a station wagon that saw it. And my friend made us go to the police department and make a police report.
Wow. Were there any other reports that that night made that you're aware of?
The police wouldn't tell us, but we called some of our high school friends and they saw it too. Interesting.
All right. Well, there you go. Kentucky, down there in the Smokies or wherever. That's, there's a lot of wilderness out there. So who knows what they were doing? Maybe they were zapping up a cow. I don't know. It happens, right? Don't they say that happens? Let's see. David in Lakeview. Hey, David.
Hey, Todd. I just switched on hold on a speaker or something. It's making the thing weird.
Oh.
Okay, there you go.
Maybe it's aliens.
I called this in before. It was 2 or 3 years ago when I called in and you were doing a UFO show.
Oh, okay.
And I was living in Austin at the time, and I was delivering pizzas, and I saw a black triangle, silent, slow, with at the very point, there was a bright, like a landing light at the very front point.
Right.
And on the bottom, there was a red rotating light, and it reminded me of a light on a fire engine, a red rotating light under a glass.
Sure.
Or under a dome glass. And I got out of my car. I stopped the car, pulled off the side of the road, stopped the car, and just looked up at it. And I kept asking myself, what is that? What is that? There's no way it could be flying. It was only like 35, 40 miles an hour. If it was an aircraft, it would have fallen out of the sky. But I have called that in before, and I heard other guys calling today talking about flying triangles, and this was back in '96.
Let me ask you this question, and I don't want you to think that I'm saying that you're wrong. Okay, so just understand this. I've heard this question asked many times, that if this is in fact some sort of alien craft that's from somewhere else, and they're coming here, why do they put lights on the ship?
Well,
I'm like, why would they put lights on the ship that would identify them? You would think that they would be like, we have to get in here as stealthily as possible. We don't want to attract any attention because we don't want farmers out there with shotguns shooting at us. Right.
Yeah, right.
Why? We don't want lights on it. So, the Air Force or Navy or whoever can come after us. We want to come in quietly, stealthily.
I'll have to say, after watching what I watched and thinking about it, that red rotating light on the bottom just seemed too human. So I don't think it was from somewhere else.
Right. And I would bet, David, that a lot of sightings that people have, it's something like that, right?
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting that there isn't something out there that people are seeing that isn't from this world, because in the last couple of years we've had that whole thing with the naval aviators and that little
the tic tac,
flying around, whatever, and they don't know what it is. Like, they have no idea. And these aren't just average Joes like you and me. These guys are fighter pilots who study this stuff. So, but I always thought that was interesting. Why are there lights on there? You think that they'd want to be stealthy, and
Well, a lot of reports nowadays have this thing where they can cloak, and like you can just see through it. You can see the stars behind the cloak.
Yeah.
That there's like a distortion. Those are.
It's like recent. The Klingons in Starship or in Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
They've got the cloaking. All right, David, I appreciate your call. There were some good ones there.
Absolutely.
Some good ones. So we just have a couple of minutes left. Let's hit it one more time. Okay. We've got the Fairborn UFO Conference. The first night, Friday, June 6th, there's a costume contest out at Little Art Theater in Yellow Springs, right? That starts at
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. And there's like 4 age groups for kids all the way to adults. And then at 7, they're going to be showing E.T.
Yes.
Extraterrestrial. Now, is there a charge for the movie?
Yeah, for the movie, it's children from 12 and under is free.
Okay.
And adults are only $5.
Okay. Well, that's fair.
Very
That's good.
reasonable.
Yeah, very reasonable. And then on Saturday, you've got the conference at the Fairborn Holiday Inn. You're going to have 7 different speakers. All these folks are, in the field of ufology. You're going to be able to mix and mingle with other folks that have a similar interest or maybe similar experiences, like some of the folks we've talked to tonight on the show. It's $15 for that, right?
Yes. And I just want to let you know that these speakers will also be available to sign books. So you'll actually get to meet them, not just see them on stage.
Oh, that's awesome. And you made a great point. A lot of these folks do talks throughout the country and usually charge a lot more for one of their seminars or one of their conferences. For $15, you get to see all these folks.
Absolutely.
Which is great. And then on Sunday, you've got Alien Disc Golf there at the Fairborn Community Park.
Yes.
Right. And that's $25 per person for that.
So
but
$50 a team.
Right. And it's doubles, but you get one of those, you'll each get one of those cool souvenir alien golf discs.
Yes.
That sounds cool. I mean, that
Yes.
sounds really neat.
Yes.
So if you want more details, you can find it on my Facebook page. There's a link there, or you can go to off of that. I posted earlier UFO 101. That's the group that David McWhartor, who's in the studio with me tonight, is from. You can go to that page. It's all out there.
Yes.
And once again, it's coming up June 6th, 7th, and 8th in Fairborn. And my hope is that this is going to turn into not just a conference in the future, but like a big festival where people are dressing up in aliens and as aliens and having parades and all kinds of fun.
Yes.
So this will be cool. All right. Well, David, thank you so much for being on. And we'll hear more about it between now and then for sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
What is this? The Evening Edge with Todd Host.
It's a radio show. It's entertainment.
Fill it up.
T. Oh.
Double D.
H.
Oh.
Double L.
S. T. I can remember that.
Locally grown, seriously funny.
I'm puzzled by the whole thing.
On WHIO.